seeing.
When you go on a vacation.
Oh, hey, that's romance.
Yeah,
that's a good
romance. Yeah, there we go. He said it's when you go on a vacation.
There's romance.
Yeah,
That's where you can get. That's what you can get romantic.
Get smart. All right. What?
Hey,
Matthias,
stop messing with that, babe.
Can't touch it. No touching it.
No touchy.
No touchy. What's that from, Matthias? Emperor's New Groove. You ever seen that before?
No, I try to get them to watch it. That is one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure.
Wrong.
Look, I'm drinking water because Nancy and Phil were giving me a hard time right now.
Why? Because he said he drank a ton of soda.
I didn't drink anything.
He doesn't drink any water.
I don't thirst.
Yeah.
Matthias drinks a lot, like his mom.
Yeah. So Thomas drinks more. No screaming, bub. Thomas drinks more water than Adam. Adam will drink a swig of water to hydrate himself before he goes to bed. A swig.
One swig.
Literally. Last night, I make an ice cold water every night and put it by my bed because sometimes I wake up, either I have to go to the bathroom or I'm like, ooh, I'm parched, so I'm going to drink some water. And every time before we go to bed, Adam goes, let me get a swig. And I'm like, your mouth on my stuff.
She acts like I'm actually taking it. But, I've been researching biohacking. So I got hydrogen tablets that I'm committing to myself.
Oh.
Not to you. I don't need
Which ones are they? What's the brand?
H2 tabs, the one you hid in my bathroom counter that you opened my mail, put them upstairs.
I didn't know that those were those. Oh, I would have.
No, you're not. You don't know anything about hydrogen water. So
I don't need to.
Without the research, you can't. Don't touch it.
I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
But so now this is a cheat code because you don't drink water. You're just going to take a...
No. Matthias is like, when there's a DJ and then they're like, where, someone's in the background. He's like adding in like background. Yeah, he's adding like filler words to whatever we say.
What a goop.
No, you still have to drink water.
Okay, so is it like salt pill?
No, it's more than that.
Like a pickle pill?
No, because
What's salt pill?
It's for minerals. It's for your body. It's like Gatorade. Kind of like Gatorade, but without the flavor. So hydrogen tabs are not that. Hydrogen tabs are more than that. Their water consists of H2O. Okay, so hydrogen tabs just consist of hydrogen because hydrogen apparently is like the lightest gas on Earth, and so it actually penetrate into your body. So like you can also take a hydrogen bath, like if you buy a machine, and the hydrogen will actually secrete through your body to hydrate it. Yeah. So it's a higher form of hydration.
So it's better than my electrolytes?
It's better than you know what, like, man, I don't want to start no drama.
Start it. Let's go there.
You know what I mean?
Let's go there.
But you know that,
it's
like,
better than the alkaline and
the MLM's, the Kangen water. I mean, I don't want to be, but it's like, but unless Kangen, I don't think Kangen water is hydrogen. I don't know what it does. But Kangen water, they said it was, they would tell you like, oh, stand on one toe, and then you could do it once you drink the water and all that stuff like that. So I don't know whether it's legitimate, but hydrogen water is legitimate because it's concentrated hydrogen.
Okay.
So you basically need, apparently, I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm still researching. Apparently you need like less of it than normal water because it'll actually, like, it gets through your whole body and system. But
so it's a tablet.
Well, the ones I have are tablet, but it's a machine also.
Okay.
Like that's how people, the really ultra wealthy people install like machines and all. Like they like invert them into their cold plunges and all that stuff like that. Where I'm just doing the little tablet things, which I think are like, I think it comes out to like $1 a day or something like that. Is what you just go on a subscription and they
it's like $60 for a 60-pack.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And they want you to take 2 to 3 a day.
And so what's the results? People are saying like, oh, I feel so much better.
Increased hydration, clear skin, increased hydration, everything that water does. So mental clarity,
How about you get half and I get the other half?
No, I don't think so. I think that you.
I would be more consistent, and I would take them.
I think you make your own living, and you can buy the
I
things
live
that
off
are.
of you. That's my living.
I think you can. I didn't just pay for that thing you just put on your head right there. That is brand new and puffy. So I don't think I paid for that. You did. So.
I paid for this. I did.
Exactly. So add the little tabs that you tried hiding in our house. You go ahead and.
Well, I just hide them again.
No, I'm good. I already put them somewhere else.
No, you didn't. They're right there on the counter.
They're not.
Did you take one today?
Huh?
Did you take one today?
Yeah.
So the point when I went to get water earlier in my office was that I forgot them at home because my wife put them in a weird place, and people with ADHD, we have to have it in a very specific place.
And then he found them, and then he now said he hid them, so he hid them from himself.
But they threw, well, I put them downstairs by my thing so I wouldn't forget them, and here we are without it. But I'll start tomorrow. I'll let everybody know by next week's episode.
Right. Let's see if you have clear skin.
Yeah.
My skin, it looks good. I got good skin.
No, you only have good skin because you guys, you know what he doesn't do? Wash his face.
He doesn't?
I mean, hold
in
on.
the shower, but like.
I do more than... I do more than average men. I mean, I literally have Kiehl's facial wash that I do in the shower and all that kind of stuff.
That has run out.
No, it's not the little one.
That's mine.
And I use it because you took my big one. I had like a big gallon one, and Ashlee would be like, squirt, 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 squirt.
I have like two. I have an exfoliant of a face wash, and then I have a regular nice face wash. You don't put any cream on your face.
We
you don't put
care.
any.
I hold on. I have Kiehl's moisturizer in my office right now.
In your office? When do you wash your face?
Yeah.
In the office?
But I mean, I put it on every couple times a week in my office.
It sounds like that TikTok where
Matthias.
the girl walks in, her husband's showering, and he's using the scrub that's for her face on his butt.
But I'd be livid. I'd be
for my
livid.
face.
Listen,
Not your
I'm more hygienic than Ashlee.
No,
so
Matthias,
she
what do you put on
she
your face
cannot-
that mommy makes you put on your face every single morning?
So, water.
Well, no, but you wash your face with water, but then what else do I make you put? I put little white dots of what?
Lotion.
Lotion, because we can't be what?
Ashy.
Ashy.
And then what does Daddy do on your clothes? I spray you with.
Color.
Yeah, you gotta get that smell
Oh,
good.
yes, yes.
Every day, yeah.
Girl, yes,
smell
we have
good.
to.
Hey,
Right?
Matthias, do any kids at school ever notice you smell good? Yeah? What do they say? Oh, now you get quiet when we start talking to you.
Only my aide knows.
Who?
My aide.
Your
Oh,
aide,
your
Miss
aide.
Flores says she
your
smells
aides
good.
knows you smell good.
Yeah.
Well,
He's like, he's not everyone's sniffing my kid.
well, I mean, I don't know. Do you hug your classmates? Like, do you guys give each other hugs or high fives?
High five.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know if you were hugging someone. It'd be like, oh, you smell good, Matthias. Matthias, you smell so good. Yeah. As you can see, we got Matthias on here for a little bit. He got out of school a little early. He's got a haircut coming up that Grandma's taking him to.
Yep.
So he's sitting with us for Mother's Day, but he's sitting with us until he has to leave. But we got a good episode for you today. Welcome everybody to Beyond I Do. As always, it's Adam and Ashlee here. No interview today, other than whatever Matthias decides to interject from time to time and add in. We had a question submission that came in, and so we want to be able to answer that today. Would love to see what you guys think of it as me and Ashlee also respond. I got to pull it up. And
What about me?
what about you? What do you want? What's your favorite song right now? Don't spin it. Don't hit the mic.
What's your favorite song?
What's your favorite song right now?
For Frank?
Yeah, it's every kid's favorite song right now. That's
About to have a good day. Is that one?
yeah. And Matthias, you don't have to stay on here if you don't want. You can go on the couch on the iPad if you want. Okay?
Okay.
If you get bored.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Cool. All right.
Didn't shoot him.
Jeez. All right. Whatever. All right. Here was the question.
Okay.
Question is, how do you deal with romance after children? Speaking of which, we got one of those. Look at that face. Look at that face. If you're watching on YouTube, dude's got a look, man. How do you deal with romance after children? My husband and I are very disconnected. Yeah, we get that. Well, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. You know, I won't say that Adam and I had it easy after we had Matthias by any means. So we had to really work on it, and it wasn't until my husband brought it to my attention. And I kind of knew, but it wasn't until Adam sent me that text message that we've talked about on our podcast before.
Doesn't mean they've heard that episode, so you don't have to assume everyone knows, all the history. And
so you want me to
like
re-say it?
Well, I mean, why not? Everyone don't listen to every episode. Okay. But let's just say this real quick.
Yeah.
When we talk of romance, we would define it in 3 areas, which is physical romance, emotional romance. Well, you use intimacy interchangeably. So you have physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, and spiritual intimacy. And so we think a well-rounded, healthy romance speaks to those 3 areas.
Right.
And so in her question, our romance has taken a hit. First of all, it's defining what aspect. First of all, it's defining what aspect of the romance is taking a hit. Is it all of them, physical, emotional, and spiritual, or is it just one of the 2, or 2 of the 3, or whatever that may be? And we could define that more in the episode as well. But it's defining then what are those. Which mostly when people talk about it, they're talking about. The woman's normally talking about emotional intimacy is missing in their love life, and men generally are talking about physical intimacy. But women will still admit that there is no physical intimacy either, and so that can all go into play into the complicated aspect of the romance, especially after children. So I'll let you take it from there.
That's good. Yeah, so speaking of that, to where Adam and I, at that point after Matthias, we see each other. We were with each other all the time. We were living with your parents at the time, too, before we moved out. And you and I, we literally shared a bed with Matthias. So being emotionally there, Adam was always emotionally there. Emotionally there for me, you'd have to answer that as far as how you felt emotionally if I was there present or fully consumed with Matthias. But the physical was not there at all. And so we had lived with your parents for pretty much a year, and it was probably, I mean, we're transparent here, probably intimacy was 10, maybe not even that. 10 times after Matthias was born, into his first birthday. And then probably. And then we move into our house, and then it was probably about another 6 months into our house where we're getting our feet wet in the house, getting things organized, finally feeling like this is us, this is how we're starting our family. And within that 6 months, I don't think we were intimate probably once of us moving in. And it was, I could make every excuse under the sun, except I didn't try. So that's what I would say. I didn't try to be intimate. I was like, I would kind of make excuses. And then I got sick after Matthias. So that was another excuse that I could make. But I know in that moment, I could have emotionally and spiritually been there better. And then I know, obviously, physically, through the times of me as far as like not feeling well, being sick, led up to that 6 months now being in our new home. I get a message from Adam. He's outside by our little fire pit that we have, and he shoots me a text message, and it's about, I would say, midnight or 1 o'clock, and I wake up because I'm feeding Matthias still. And I get this.
No, you're not feeding him. Well, we had Thomas by then because it was 2021, I think.
I thought we were just recently in the house. I thought it was 7 years.
No, because it was
7 years.
It was definitely post. It was post COVID.
It would have been him. It was 7 years because we were like, I don't know how we made it to the 7 years. Like,
oh, okay.
I want to say that's what it was.
2020. It was during COVID.
Yeah. Because in 2019...
2020 would have been 5 years married.
Because when did we move into the house?
2019.
2019. Okay, yeah, so 2020. So right before Thomas. And, so we're in the house. Matthias is about to be 2. And I get a text message from you about 1 o'clock in the morning, which I was still waking up with him. Because that bro until he was 3 years old. Because I wouldn't have just woke up from my phone randomly. And so I get a text message from you basically saying, like, I love you. I'm in love with you. I want nothing to do but be your husband, but in this moment, I feel like we're just friends living with each other.
Yeah.
There was no physical. There was, and you basically said, I don't know. I know my strength, and I know that I could stay loyal to this relationship and our marriage, but a physical need that I want to feel intimacy with my wife. I want to feel attractive. I don't know if you're attracted to me. I don't know if there's something wrong with me. If I'm doing something wrong, and you didn't put it all on me, you also
I said, tell me what you need.
Yes.
You need from like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
What am I lacking or not doing that? And I did. I said, I feel like I do everything.
Right.
Like, I provide for you. We go out. We all these things
travel,
like that.
we go on vacations.
Compliment you, all that kind of stuff like that. And and then I said, and then I essentially said, there's nobody I'm looking at. There's no one I'm attracted to, but I think I'm strong enough. But I basically said, at this point, it's potentially not a matter of if I would ever do something in our marriage. It could be when I do it, because you basically put a gun to my head, and in the future, I said, I want to let you know, right here in this moment, in the future, which would be probably many years down the line if things don't stop, but
or change.
Or change. But if I pull the trigger and I ever do something stupid, I take full responsibility for it. But just know, you gave me the gun, you loaded the gun, you pulled the trigger back, and you handed it to me. And I'm not blaming you if I ever do something dumb. It's my fault. I should lose everything, if I ever would do that. But, basically, intimately, I'm miserable, And that, at that time, that was year 5 in our marriage, more so 6. I want to say it was 2021, but...
Thomas wasn't born yet. I know that.
So it might have been, I don't know, somewhere around then. And we had intimacy issues from the beginning in terms of physical intimacy. Romance was fine. We go out, have conversation. We've always been each other's best friends, so we always love being around each other. But predominantly for you, it's something that even married before kids, you struggled with. And then you just adding children just made it an even more easier excuse for you. Intimacy was never fun for us. You never made it fun. You never wanted to have fun. You wanted to get it over with. Your idea of intimacy was me just coming home from work and us sitting on the couch. That to you was the best thing ever. Watching Harry Potter together, you would have been like, oh, we were really good on romance, And part of that is unfortunately how you were raised. Not that your parents did a bad job, but like it is important as you're raising children that when they get to a certain age, it's important to talk about intimacy, especially in a Christian household. We make sex and intimacy feel like it was given by Satan, and it's demonized left and right. And then so you get married, you think that what you're doing is wrong, and you and your spouse want to do stuff, and you go, oh no, I think it's only supposed to be like this because that's the way Jesus would want us to do it, and that stuff isn't true. And so it plays into the psyche and the marriage, and for you it was other things as well. And so yeah, with children on top of the romance, like for us, the emotional intimacy and spiritual intimacy had always been relatively strong. It was the physical intimacy had always been our struggle. And then over the past couple of years, I mean, it was something that for a while, even after that moment, you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'll be more, you message me, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to get back on track. And then, you get pregnant, you have Thomas, and you kind of fall back into the, same rhythm and routine of having an easy excuse of, well, we got this baby and all this stuff. We got all these responsibilities. And so it affects. So for us, the way that we've dealt with it. Now, here's the thing, like, not everybody could talk to their spouse the way that you and I talk to each other. So I always qualify people and say, like, we built our marriage on extreme transparency, openness. You were also a professional athlete, so you like to be told very black and white, how things are. And so, like, you got to know your marriage, you got to know your spouse, because I've heard guys that have heard our story and gone to their wife and been like, I'm going to cheat on you any day now if you things don't change. And then the wife's like, whoa. And then, all of a sudden they're like in counseling with divorce papers in hand. And so it's like, you got to know your spouse. You got to know, men, that may be a thought of yours, but that doesn't mean that you have to tell your wife. I just know for Ashlee, it was important to tell her everything.
Well, because I feel like for me, and this is just me, why sugarcoat what you're feeling? And we've talked to him about in many of our podcasts about being selfless. Like, I'm not perfect, and I'm not perfect. I know you're not perfect, but we're wanting to be on the same track. So for you to be honest about something that isn't selfish, I would say, because you want the marriage to work and the intimacy is really important biblically as well.
Yeah.
I, as your wife, in submission to my husband, how can I be a better wife?
Yeah.
To where if I can be receiving of you in those areas, I know that in my areas of where I want you to grow, obviously as a husband, you'd be receiving as well. But if I have to sugarcoat it and douse it with, someone had said it a couple of days ago, like, put a little sugar on it. And I'm like, that's great, but then sometimes it could be too sugary and too much to where I'm like, so am I in trouble or am I not? Are you really bothered by this or not? Do you really care about it or not? Mm-hmm. Because what a lot of people tend to do is be like, so we haven't been intimate in a while. And I understand because you've been so busy at work and I know the kids have been running you dry and I know we've been at practice. Yeah. So do you really care or do you not? Because you just gave me 100 excuses to where I'm like, he thinks I got that many excuses. I'm gonna live with it, and I'm not changing, because he's making every excuse. We're not intimate because I know X, Y, and Z. Okay, so do you care about intimacy or not? Because you're giving me a get out of jail free card right now. Mm-hmm. So if you this is just how I am though. So because I'm saying, like, if my husband were to be, and you don't come in it like, oh, I need intimacy now. Like, that's not how you do it. Like, that's, but if you're like, hey, we haven't been intimate in a while. Like, you were traveling a couple weeks ago and you were gone for over a week. And I'm like, hello? Like, I'm starting to be the one where, like, the intimacy has to happen because it works for our marriage now. We can be transparent or be honest and be open. And I think that when it's more I can receive it that way and you can be honest in that way. So sometimes a little sugar on it is, be careful, I would just say.
Yeah, in the communication. Yeah. And I would say for us, like, specifically physical intimacy, probably more so on your side in terms of acknowledgement, awareness, more of it. Like, I mean, we're going on 10 years this year, and it was probably year 8. You finally were like, okay, like, maybe there's something to this. Maybe I got it. And I mean, like, I'm talking about, like, first 7 years, 8 years was like, I mean, it was like blow up fights. It was like in front of Nathan, Sanaz, Aaron, Erica, like what?
Heron.
What are you doing? What do you want me to do? And it started like literally on month 1 of marriage. Mm-hmm. And then, and I was trying to, I have been always very understanding of it, but again, like, there are some individuals, like for me, I take my faith very seriously. I take my relationship with Jesus. So like, whatever shortcomings you have never outweighs my devotion to Christ. And so I do think that less strong men probably would have done something dumb a long time ago. But and in the sense of, like, if I ever asked for intimacy or something, like, 9 times out of 10 you would give it. And our whole premise was like, it's something I have to ask for. It can't just be intimately engaged or whatever. It's like something like literally gotta be like, hey, blah, blah. So like, it feels like I'm submitting like a requisition,
right?
For it. And that was the thing that I was trying to get us to hurdle. But for you, there was a lot of baggage, and we talked about some of it sometimes. And so never has it been your negatively intention. You've never used weaponized intimacy in our relationship, but you had lived with guys prior to our relationship. You also grew up in a very strict home around purity and all those things like that. And so you really have just over the years, you walked into marriage, specifically in this sense, with a very distorted view of intimacy, and no one ever mentored you on it, coached you on it, spoke into it in you. And so I also, on another flippantly stupid side of things, was, I had, had many partners before, had done many things before. And so there were also things in our marriage that I was interested in that you weren't interested in intimately wise. But I had been with women who were. And so I had my own junk that I had to work through and lean on God to give me awareness for and stuff like that. And so, we both very much took distorted views of intimacy, and because for us right away we've just made sure to set a standard to say, we're going to do date nights and we're going to have communication. And so, I mean, right off the bat, the moment we started having kids, which Matthias will be 7 next month, so 7 years, and even prior, but 7 years, immediately we had date nights, and we've always, I mean, our boys were, Thomas was like, 5 months old when we went away for 10 days?
No, he was only 11. He was 11 months. Which
he was 11 months. And we went away for 10 days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you and I have never had an issue taking time off, having me and you time, 2-3 day things. We've done week things. We've done 10-day things.
But it's one of those things, too, because I remember, because I'll tell you this. When Adam and I dated, it's very much different than being married. I was hand-holding, hugging, walking arm in arm. We were very affectionate towards each other in the dating. And then once we got married, it was just like, things happened, and it was me more than you. Because obviously we've mentioned that things happened prior to our marriage where something happened and it triggered
Not
me.
involving us, but involving people that were very close to us.
Very close. And
there was an affair that was very close to us, and it involved people that we loved and cared about, people that were in our wedding and stuff like that. And so, and we found out 3 weeks before our wedding.
Yes.
So it was very traumatizing for all of us.
Right. And it was one of those things that I didn't realize how broken I was from past relationships that I didn't think anything of going into my marriage. I was like, speaking about just brokenness or trauma or past or hurts, it's so unique nowadays how it's way more talked about revealing and peeling back what has really happened and what effect and what took place during that time. And so being in past relationships, I've mentioned, I've been cheated on, I've been dating someone else at the same time that I didn't know they were dating someone else. People all murmuring and I'm not hearing any of it, and then getting cheated on and it being revealed and how dumb I looked in those moments. But then fast forward, don't think anything of it. And then this happens prior to my marriage to a godly man, to someone who I prayed for, who I was like, this is what is happening. I thought I left that lifestyle as far as what was surrounded around dating the athletes and they're going to cheat on you, to now I'm dating a pastor and I'm like, wait, but it could still happen here? This can still, like, and not with you, but I'm just saying, like, as close as we were in that sense, that triggered something within me that it didn't get revealed until 2 months into our relationship, where I'm like, oh, I'm not well. Yeah,
you're like going through my computer.
Going
you're
your
like,
phone.
going through my phone when I'm not around, and you're just like looking for. I'm a youth pastor, so like I'm emailing youth students like, "Hey, we got a meeting on Sunday." And he's like, "Who's this girl?" I'm like, "You mean the group of students?" It's like you used to be that group email to people. Like,
and it was like, one
what?
Because I thought one of the girls was pretty, and I was like, he has to think she's pretty. Oh, it was something, and I had to reel back.
I'm like, you mean our college volunteer? What are you talking about? Like
the insecurities that I didn't know I had that lived there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am an insecure woman because something has happened to me. And how do I deal with this?
Yeah.
How do I heal from this? And in reality, it took 7 years of realizing intimacy.
Yeah. 5 years in is when I sent you the
Yes.
message, but it really took at that 5 year mark, it took you a few years. Like you identified it was a problem. And then we started really like working backwards to be like, well, how is this a problem?
Right.
And then it took a few years for you like to actually just, identify it. And then like on top of that, there is a lot of context. When Matthias was born, you got diagnosed with Graves' disease, and that deals with your thyroid. Your thyroid deals with so much things of your hormones specifically. And so there is a lot of, and so for me, it's always been, me trying to walk with grace and understanding for a lot of, now, if you ever weaponized intimacy or lorded over me, then we would have a problem. We'd be in counseling and we've gone like to accountability, who are counselors and stuff like that. But like we would be going to traditional counseling if I felt like you were ever being, if I was victimized,
Right.
By a lack of intimacy or anything like that. But for you early on, it was, okay, well, one thing we identified early on was, because there is this cultural, negative expression that says if a man continually desires sex, he's like a horn dog, and he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about intimacy. He's just trying to get it in. And in a sense, yeah, that's how God made men. Like, you stupid. Like, just look at a 12-year-old boy. Like,
Right.
like even look at our sons who have, testosterone, and they wake up and all the kids, you have
grief.
morning wood and all that stuff like that. Like, that is testosterone. And so, like, this is what I try to even adults, men, I'm like, do you remember when you were like 12 and 13 and 14 years old and you were going through puberty? I mean, legitimately, you could see, like, if you're a boy going through puberty, I mean, you could see a woman's wrist on television and your mind just goes crazy.
Yeah.
That is what your hormones are doing. I mean, when you're at that age and you start hitting that season, like, it is so hard. And, when men actually start thinking about it, because we tend to like just put it behind us, because you eventually do grow in a sense where it's like that feeling's there, but you learn how to deal with it and all that kind of stuff. But when you're that age, I mean, like, this is probably too TMI, but just to give women context, because I hate how women in society, not like just in church, portray men who have, sexual desires and stuff like that. Like I remember like teenagers in 8th grade and 9th grade are trying to ask each other, what do you do when you're erect in the morning and you have to get to school? And so they talk about it. Well, I tuck it under my belt, or I think of my grandma. And like, this is stuff kids talk about, because they're like, I struggle. They're like, I struggle. What do you do? What do you do? Like, one kid was like, I remember what kid was saying, like, I count to 30 backwards, and by the time I get to 10, I'm usually okay, and all that stuff like that. And so, like, when you think about that is what a teenager's going through.
Yep.
And then a man becomes 20, 30, blah, blah. If his testosterone is still there at those levels, like, he's going to have desires.
Right.
And so this, what happened was, like, even particularly for you, you had ascribed the men that you had dated previously, like, okay, if they continually want it, there's something wrong with them. And then when they stop wanting it, it's because they got it somewhere else.
Right.
And so then that's when I have to turn on the romance so that they stay with me and don't cheat on me. So then you marry me, and it's like, I have intimacy desires. And so your mind starts playing games with you to be like, okay, well, he wants it every day. And I'm like, yeah, we're married. Like, I
Obviously.
I went years with, there was ways when I wasn't saved, and even after struggled in some of those areas. But by the time I meet you, I mean, like, we're pretty much keeping everything above board. And so it's like, I'm like, man, I earned my way to now be in marriage and like have intimacy and sex whenever I want. And And then you're like, well, what's wrong with you? Who are you texting? If you got all these hormones, who are you talking? And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about, Ashlee? And you're like, you're going to, when you want it like this, you're going to cheat on me any day. And then I'd go cold. I would just be like, well, I'm going to ignore her. I guess this is the hell I'm in. And then you'd like turn it on and I'd be like, what is going on? And then one day, eventually, when my book does come out, which is done, but we're going to get a big, hopefully a big publisher to because people really want to, my agency wants to get it in a lot of people's hands because they think it will help a lot of people. But I share this story. Everything we're sharing in this episode is in my book when it comes out. And specifically, your view of how you viewed intimacy is in the book as well, of this idea that it was very perverted in the sense that a man who desired it to you was a dog. And then when he didn't desire it, it's because he was getting it somewhere else. And so then that's when I have to, appease him and do things. And so for me, like, who was just, following Jesus. So I was like, I'm never going to be mad at Ashlee. I'm not going to lash out on her. And then you would just be like, oh, well, if he's fine, I'm fine.
Yep.
And then I would bring it up to every once in a while, and you'd be like, oh, well, whatever, it's not big. I don't need it, and you're thinking female, male, same thing. If a man does want it, it's just because he's a pervert. And it's like that wasn't the case. And so it took 5 years of finally going like, hey, this is the male anatomy. This is the female anatomy. You probably didn't learn it, and you're 30-something years old, but this is how the body works. Yeah. I'm sick of doing it the nice way. Like, here's what it is.
Right.
Here's what's on the table. You either want to address this or you don't.
Right.
If you don't, I'm committed to you until I think I'll be strong enough, but maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. And so I said, like, I'm in it. I'm in it. If this is the cross I carry, legitimately, it was like, if this is the cross I carry, then it's the cross I carry. It's cool. I don't want to lose everything in my life, so I'm good. Right. Like, it is what it is. And then you were like, oh, wow, this is a problem. And it took about another couple years for you then to take all the, because by that time you were 32. So, let's just say you were an adult for, at that time, whatever, 16 years, 17. Like, to redo all those 16, 17 years of misconception, poor relationships, a disease on top of that, all that kind of stuff. And so for me, I was trying to regularly be patient, talk about it when necessary without raising an issue. Right. Definitely never wanted you to feel insecure about any of it. And so it was, those were the biggest issues. And so I think children changing, obviously your body had changed, your body does change. You had the reverse effect when Matthias was born. 30 days after, you lost 40 pounds in 30 days when you got Graves' disease. And so yours was like, don't look at me because I have no muscle on my body. I have no weight. I'm just like, you looked like
skeleton.
A skeleton, someone who was ill. And so you did not feel pretty, and you didn't feel sexy or anything like that. And so we had to work through all that stuff. And so for me, it was always being patient, prayerful, honest when I needed to be. And then honestly, like now over the years, like it really has become great as we've discussed, but you're also now like, you're getting older. And so, and I got older. So here was the worst part a couple years ago. Ashlee starts figuring it out. We raise our intimacy because for us, it wasn't, for us, we've never had issue with time and emotion and spiritual. Ours has always been physical intimacy. And so, Ashlee finally, okay, this is my problem, blah, blah, blah.
We're going.
So she starts resoluting in her head, like, I'm gonna start sliding in the shower with him. I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start doing that. And, I'm taking over one of the largest churches in America at, 31 years old at the time. And it's staff, budget, salary, all this stuff. I went through COVID. I basically took our church through COVID because my dad was around, but my dad wasn't, he actually had a thyroid issue. So then I started leading the church pretty much at 30 behind the scenes. And sure enough, Ashlee figures it out. She starts putting on game, and I can't perform.
Every time
it was like my dream come true. Her coming in, doing sexy stuff. She's coming in lingerie, blah 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 blah, and I could not. I couldn't be turned on at
I was
all.
like, bro, I know I look good. No, but that
And
was
she's
the
like,
grace that
"What?
I was like,
What's-"
what the heck?
And I was like, I don't know. And then I went to the doctor. I got my blood work, and they, an ideal male testosterone starts at 500. That's the starting point of healthy. They want it low end is 300. They really want men's testosterone to be about 500. Peak, they want it peaked is like 700, 750. My buddy who's in his 40s recently got his testosterone pulled. He was at 900, and that's like exceptional, And
What the heck?
in his 40s with a six pack and all that, so that's probably why. But
That's crazy.
so I get my testosterone checked, and I'm at 90, which there's like teenage girls with more testosterone than me out on the streets. And there's two ways you measure testosterone. There's two different numbers. Like there's one that's like they measure one number like a 50 to something, 70 or something. And then there's the other version, which is the 500 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was at 90. And so, and testosterone for men, I mean, that's your bread and butter. That's your drive. That's your clarity. That's your stamina. That's everything. That's your intimacy. So then now here I am. It's like, oh, my wife's figured this out. And then now, I'm 33 going on 65, emotionally, because of the church and COVID and ministering people and deaths and leadership and all that. And so then, I start taking, hormones and peptides and testosterone, which helped a lot.
Right.
But I'm on it. You know, 2 years later, I'm
right.
like a year and a half, maybe 2 years almost.
And
It's
even
like,
though,
so it's like,
and even though, and that obviously helped tremendously. And obviously, I believe that if it's something with intimacy, it's having a reflection on, has it always been a struggle? And if it is, continually work on it. I think that having the patience within a marriage and in relationship, you have to have patience. And in different seasons of life between a husband and a wife, one is going to have to be patient.
Yeah.
One is going to have to be patient. I mean, because even for us recently, I did the same thing. Because you're like, go get it checked, Ash. Just because I had my hormone thing, my thyroid, and then came back and they're like, hey, you're on the lower end and we need to get you up.
Yeah.
So even for myself, it's
on
being,
all certain hormones and
yes,
stuff like that. Yeah.
it's just checking it out as well.
And then when we sit with couples, that the reason why I said that, because that is a lot of time. It's not there as an excuse, but the food we eat today, the diets we have, the chemicals we have in the air,
the rest
all that
and
stuff
sleep
like that.
we don't get.
Yeah, the rest, the sleep, and so our hormones
Water.
are all out of balance, and our body systems, our circadian rhythms, and all that stuff like that is all out of balance. And so sometimes for people, what I'll say is if they're having intimacies, we'll say, hey, go get your hormones checked, go get your blood checked. Go see what your levels are, because that does affect not just like your intimate part, that affects your energy, clarity, desire. I meet men who are like, I used to have drive and then I don't. And I used to be really clear about things and now I'm not very clear. I'm like, my brain is foggy and all that. Well, that's all hormones. That's all getting everything up to balance. And you could do it naturally and holistically. You could do it through shots. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways. And then, so you have health, like natural health, your hormones, and then you also have like your trauma, your psychology. Right. And so a lot of people lack romance because of the psychosis. And yours was psychosis, and you also happen to have a hormone issue years down the line, but like yours was more psychological. It was through your psychosis. And so it's not just a one-all like, hey, we struggle with romance, so we need to light candles. We need to go to the movies. My husband needs to give me a box of chocolates, and then boom, it's all going to go on course. That's not really. It's not ramping up your date night. It'll help. Yeah. It's going to help, and you should do it. And you and I are big proponents of having regular date nights and all those things like that. But that's not the magic pill. There is psychology, a psychosis that the Lord can address and heal. But also you're more than welcome to also go to therapy. There's your body chemically, and then there could be you're just being a jerk, and so any of those things could play into hand. And because for romance, like the wife could also be like, well, my husband isn't there emotionally. He never asks me how my day is. Yeah. He never offers to help with the kids. So therefore, I don't find him sexy. I don't feel sexy. I feel tired. I feel busy. So it's the same thing. When you and I sit with people, we're like, oh, okay. You guys have no problem with your physical intimacy. You're game. You're down. You both have emotion, like feelings for each other, and he has testosterone. You have an excitement, and it's like, but for him, it's like, but I don't feel seen. I don't feel heard.
Right.
So therefore, this moment doesn't feel romantic.
Right.
And that's important too.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Being romantic too is taking the time to reflect on what you guys used to do. What do you enjoy doing? And because it obviously, like you said, it could be the latter, but it also is he the romantic? And if not, you plan something. Mm-hmm. I think when you're married, it doesn't always have to be the man to plan something. My mom's picking up.
You can't plan into like just regular stereotypes of like.
My mom was she's in here right now getting my kids. She was the one that planned everything. My dad, I'd call him and be like, "Where y'all going?" My dad would be like, "I don't know. Your mom planned something. We going to the Hollywood Bowl. We're going to do this. We're going to." He wasn't a planner.
Yeah.
So my mom just took initiative because she's like, "I want to have fun. I want to do this, and I think he would enjoy it as well."
Right. Yeah. The idea of like, hey, this is the way things ought to be or whatever. We tell couples all the time because they'll always sit with us and want us as a third party. Like, do you think he should be doing this or do you think she should be doing this?
Right.
And our response is always, you should be doing whatever you both agree on. That's
Right.
what you should be doing. Whatever works for your busyness, your lifestyle, where you're at in your season. So if that means, like she plans it or he plans it.
Majority
or whatever,
of the time for our date night, not majority, you'll be like, "Hey, let's go on a date night." But majority of the time, because I'm the one that gets the boys a sitter.
Yeah.
We haven't been on a date night in a minute. Hey, I scheduled your mom for Friday. What are we doing? Let's order in DoorDash.
Yeah.
Let's hang out at the house.
Yeah.
I don't really have much of
or I'll plan
then
it
you'll
from
end
there.
up planning
I'll be
something.
like,
Yes.
okay, you got a sitter.
Yep.
I'll work on something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
it
that
doesn't
stuff all the time.
always have to be, but it's me recognizing your busy schedule or where you're at to say, I'd like to hang out with my husband.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. I got a sitter. We could either stay home or if you want to do something, we can do something.
Yeah. Or I found like you don't really get excited about buying like, sexy things at home or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like I buy all that.
But then I get excited when you get up.
Yeah.
And I
so
try
I'm
it
not
on.
like I could be on the couch and be like, man, I wish my wife, bought things like that or wore thing like that.
No,
and
you
they'd
just
be-
buy it.
I just buy it. I put it in your closet. I'd be like, you had this. I mean, there's some stuff you've never worn. I'm just like, okay, she's not. And
Yeah.
luckily it's like, the stuff, everything's so cheap nowadays with like
TikTok.
Shein and all
TikTok.
that stuff. So it's like, if you don't wear some, I'm not all mad. It's like, what, $5? So.
But then when you pick something that we love, then we order more.
Yeah, then I'll get more. But I'm not going like, oh, well, my wife is supposed to go down to Victoria's Secret or whatever. It's like, man, I'll go online. I'll buy it. I know all your size. I know your bra size. I know your underwear size. I know all that stuff. I know your jean size, everything. So it's like,
But we even do that
like,
for
I'll get
couples that
stuff
we're
for you.
around. We know
Yeah.
that if they're going on a trip or if they're going away,
We put pressure on them. We're like, hey, right now,
I
you need to
send
buy
the wives,
something. You need to buy something for
here,
him. Wear
here,
for him.
Send that. Get that for him. Get
Yeah.
that. She's like, oh, that's great. Like something, and it's not super like dominatrix, like hanging out black leather whips and stuff. No, it's just a cute little number that it's a surprise, and the husbands truly appreciate it. They really do.
I don't care about that idea of like, whatever it is, all just those traditional things.
Or
of
like we,
you know.
and then we as women, we do have to get, because I've said it and I'm guilty of, well, this TMI. It's not like it stays on long.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course not. It's going to, but like it's all in the fun. It's taking the time, and I think that's where the romantic side of things comes to when it comes to physical intimacy is the time taken, because that's one thing you were like, I don't even want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it because you're like, all right, hurry up, wrap it up.
Yeah.
Are you done? All right, let's go. You're like, there's no enjoyment, there's no visual, there's no seeing, there's no just enjoying, back massage, whatever
I call
it may
it rev
be.
the engines. You got to get the engine warmed up.
Warm.
I'm not one of them modern cars like they used to be. Like when I was in my teens, in my early 20s. I'm like what's his name from Cars? The who's the old
Rusty.
man? No, who's the old man?
Yeah, Rusty. Is it Rusty?
No.
Hater.
No,
Nate,
Mater. Well,
Who's
Mater.
the old man? The Doc? Is it Doc?
Doc.
Whatever.
Doc, yeah, Doc.
Hudson.
Doc Hudson. There we go, Andy. Yeah, I'm
I
like
just know
Doc
he's Rusty.
Hudson. I'm like Doc
Rusty.
Hudson. It's like
I
we
call
got
him Rusty Dusty.
We got you got to warm this engine up. I feel like an old man lately now.
Gosh.
So it's like all that stress and everything. It's all got to go. We got to detox. So that's why I'm looking into biohacking and I'm sauning and cold
Yeah.
plunging. I'm trying to
Yeah.
geez, I got to just get my mental
Was
right.
it the woman asking for the intimacy or the male?
The woman. It was a woman. Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, she'd ask intimacy. We're translating it.
Okay.
She said romance, which is, we defined it. It's physical, spiritual. So, honestly.
But then I would say this, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I think romance also comes with the wife also initiating, I'm okay with romance, because we are technically the caretakers for the children. The main caretakers. So if I'm fully consumed with my child and I'm not making an effort to pass my child off, and I don't want anyone else watching. I don't want this.
Yeah,
I don't want
exactly.
this. I can't help you in that area then, because
Yeah.
if you're not willing to release and allow the romance to come in, your husband's just looking at, I don't want to make you mad. I don't want to touch the baby. I don't want to, and this all is assumption. I don't want to get in your space. I know that you're a first time mom or second time or whatever it may be. And I know this is a new season, but we have to, as wives, we can control and dictate on the freedom of where we allow our husband in. Because we can build that wall and be like, well, it's about the kids.
Yeah.
And we've seen marriages and relationships where if a woman or a wife creates this atmosphere where it's all about the kids, the husband will make sure that he knows that what lane he's in and he's not in the wife's lane.
Right. Which he'll
'Cause the
have, he'll
kids
have
become
no
before the
desire
wife.
to.
Yep.
He didn't want to hang out with you.
No.
Right.
Right.
Where there's
Well,
no
there's
interest.
the baby, where
no
there's
talking.
this, what about
But we
this?
live in an era. Millennials are often helicopter parents, and so they want to be by their child's side, all day, every day. And I get it. There's fears, there's worries, there's doubts, there's all these things like that. But, you and I just said early on, we're not going to choose to live our life, with that context of where, those that we love and trust, family, certain sitters, like we're going to trust them and all those things like that. And so, and then if there are ever conversations that need to be had, we're going to have them and address them and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, that's part of the problem. Is like it's going to be hard to be romantic if you have children and you're unwilling to get babysitters or have the
Right.
grandparents watch them or anything like that. And again, and we've talked about it before, there's seasons and cycles. Seasons is just a season you have. So I'll talk to couples sometimes, and I remember one time in particular, our wife said, "I just feel bad because we really haven't been intimate. It's kind of only been like once a month," and I was like, don't you have a 4-month-old or like a 5-month-old? It was like something like that. And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, hey, you're just in a season. Like you got a newborn. Like,
Right.
don't be so hard on yourself.
Yep.
But it's like, but your kid's 4, 5, 6, 7, 15
Years old.
And it's like, hello. Okay. Like now we need to address this.
Right.
So some things you got to just recognize it's like, it's just a season. We're in a season, children or whatever and stuff like that it's not going to be as frequent, or romance date nights maybe aren't going to be as
Right.
frequent because our kids are in a very chaotic season. But it's saying, but this isn't going to be permanent. The moment we see another side of this, we're going to go right back to our regular routine, which is regular date nights and things like that. And so if a person's struggling with romance, honestly, I mean, I struggle, other than like I get the trust thing, but I really don't.
Don't kids go to bed?
But well, yeah, they go to bed. But I mean, like, honestly, all the friends I have. I mean, we're talking Will, Sammy, Jeff Osborne. Not just all my normal friends I work with, Aaron and Nathan, but like my friends that don't really work here but are in ministry and stuff like that. They all, like, we were all together with like a bunch of pastors last week. There was like, there was a big group, but it was like 10 of us, and then Will and Sammy, and I forget the conversation, but they said, Adam is the hardest working person I've ever met. He's the busiest person I've ever met. They all unanimously voted and said, like, Adam is busier than anyone I've ever met with the amount of stuff he has yes to. So, like, I say that with context to say I don't really have a lot of grace for anyone that says they don't have time for romance, intimacy in their marriage, because I mean, I was gone 5 days last week. They came back this week. I was gone 2 days. You know, I'll pretty much work almost every night. You know, last week I worked almost every night, even into the weekend.
I'll see you tonight, and then you're working all tomorrow.
I work all day tomorrow, which is supposed to be a day off, and then I work all day Saturday, and then I'll work all day Sunday. And Nancy knows that. She's here. She can see my calendar.
I'm like, when are you gonna eat?
Yeah, Nancy's biggest concern for my life is always eating.
Water and eating.
She's always like, can we get you some food? I'm looking at the schedule. And I say that not to be like, oh, look how impressive Adam works.
No.
It's to say, me and Ashlee are good. We get our dates. And there are times it's 3 hours and 4 hours, or we're ripping. And there, like we were going out, one of our best friends, it was their birthdays a couple weeks ago. We said, hey, we want to go to bed early. Can we all go to dinner at 5? You know, like, because normally, you know, you go to dinner at 8, 9, and especially if you go out to LA for dinner, you're home by, 12, 1, 2. So we're aware to be like, hey, we need rest. So we're like, if they came back and we're like, well, that's not very, romantic to go to dinner when all the AARP people are
when
going. I'd be
when
like,
the street light are still on.
I don't care. We literally went to the restaurant and it was a very nice restaurant, Catch LA. We were the only first 4 people in there.
Beautiful.
I think other people were finishing lunch still.
Literally.
Like while we were there for dinner. But who cares? Why do I got to live under this stigma that dinners only happen at this time? Romance is only like this, and it only happens with flowers, or it only happens like this. And it's like you and I will treat a date morning by going out to our gym and working out together. It's like we're in a state where you and I cannot dictate like romance on a traditional sense.
No,
so
you pulled up a movie last night and you were like, this one comes out, and I'm like, okay, Thursday, okay, we have Matthias's expo, okay, we'll get home probably about 6:45, get them in bed by 7:30, start the movie 7:45, you and I chill. I'm excited because I know the boys get to sleep in tomorrow, so I'm putting them to bed early though, so that him and I can hang out.
Yeah. Right.
Or even if they're there, be on an iPad, and it's still intimate. I'm sitting with him. We're still chit-chatting, talking. The kids are there, but like we consider that still intimate time too, because although our kids are there, we're still focused on the movie. We're still engaging each other. It's him and I. And
they will be. There'll be times I'm like, hey, can I lay with you guys? And we'll be like, no.
No, go upstairs.
Go on your iPad, go sit down, go whatever. Mommy and Daddy are
bye.
hanging out.
Yeah.
Mommy and Daddy, see ya.
Yeah,
and
they're 4 and 6.
Go entertain. The reason why we gave you you got 2 brothers, so y'all
go
can hang out. See ya.
Go outside, go upstairs. We gave you dogs, go play with them.
Yep. Yeah. You got stuff. So we do. Like we have to draw lines.
Yep.
So whenever we sit with people and they're just like, we don't have the time, I'm just like, I mean, you gotta have to run your week past me because like my executive assistant's concerned for me to eat a meal.
Right.
I bet you getting your meals in.
100%.
Like
oh yeah. You get your lunch times.
Yeah,
you're
you're getting time to do stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like and then I'll be like, didn't I just see you guys at like a car show or something like that? Like, yeah, we did that, blah, blah, blah. There's all these things that we find oftentimes. And so it's not that I'm being overly critical. I'm just, when I say that, it's always like, I know what busy is. I know what it looks like.
Yeah, and how about instead of because I've heard someone even say they're like, well, my husband still considers, so like we did a date night with our friends. There was a date night with our friends. Yeah, we were still romantic to an extent, but would I consider that like him and me time? No. Because I'm hanging out with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So we still, too, as a relationship, have to understand, and you guys have to draw the line and have the boundaries as far as, like, being honest with your spouse. Like, hey, so-and-so wants to go on a couple's date, and you're looking at him like, I haven't even gone on a date with you. Tell him no.
Yeah.
Tell him no.
Yeah.
Be okay with telling your spouse, you know what? I would rather us just be me and you. I tell him that all the time. He's like, we've been invited somewhere, and you're like, you want to go? No. I don't. I really don't. I'd rather be on my couch. And he'd be the same. I'll be like, do you want to? No. Okay. Let's not do it. We're not doing it. We're very honest. And our feelings don't. Well, they've been waiting for us. They didn't. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And they'll understand, hey, we've had a long, busy week. Hey, we want to be with the kids. Hey, Adam and I, we're going to schedule a date night, and we're just going to keep it a date night. Because early on in our relationship, too, because we were so, I wouldn't say rocky, but with the intimacy, any chance we got to be on a double date, we did it. Because we were like, this is easier because we don't have to have the tough conversations until we realize like, hey, no, we need to just be me and you. Because this is our marriage is between me and you, not everybody else. So we have to fix us in order for our marriage to be better. And that's just the intimacy and alone time that we get together. So
You reach time, you're over talking, you're oversharing.
I'm Matthias.
No, I'm just kidding. That's good. That's probably the. I mean, we're always open and honest, but it was like it was a
You
real.
talking
open
about
one.
some wild stuff there.
What did I say that was so wild?
I'm just kidding. And if you want to, which I don't even know if we changed or if we said it before we go.
No, yeah, don't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Beyond I Do. We'll see you next time. Hey, goodbye.